Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of The Downtown Dish. I am your host, Katy Schamberger. Buckle up, friends. We have got a big show for you. We are going to be checking in with Dan Walsh at Spokes, who has actual breaking news, heard first here on The Downtown Dish, nowhere else. So stay tuned. We're also going to check out our first ever Downtown Dish on location interview with Matt and Jeff, co-owners of The Pairing. And I have a special guest who whipped up a really cool project after seeing a Downtown Dish interview a couple weeks ago that's going to go for a good cause. So you'll get all that and so much more. Big thanks, as always, to our partners for helping to make the Downtown Dish happen. KC Streetcar, Downtown Council, Kansas City Downtown Neighborhood Association, and Linchpin Ideas. Big thanks also, you may recognize that music from last week. We've got this beautiful song, How Much Longer, back on this week's issue of the Downtown Dish. It's an unreleased song written by Tim Blackfingers Agutu. As we mentioned last week, he wrote this song. I think a lot of us can resonate during the stay-at-home orders, missing family and friends and the hustle and bustle of, quote, normal life. So, Tim, thank you again for letting us use your beautiful music, and be sure to connect with Tim online so you can keep tabs on where he'll be playing next. Let's dive into this week's episode. Okay, so you may have heard last week, did a little plug for Spokes, and now this week, so thrilled to welcome managing partner of Spokes, Dan Walsh, to the Downtown Dish. Dan, how are you?
I am doing great. Just got done with lunch, so we're doing just fine.
Awesome. Dan, take us back, because I've been to Spokes, love it, huge fan. I know you guys opened a second location more recently. Take us back and just give us a scoop on, how the business got started. And I love that kind of split concept with bike shop, cafe, bar. What a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking. I just rolled out of a previous business, and I was kind of looking to start kind of a breakfast and lunch place. So I'd never been in the restaurant business before, but my family were caterers growing up. I was in a catering company.
Okay.
Caterer, worked in the food business, and so wanted to do a breakfast and lunch place. Wasn't interested in chasing like a lot of late night bar crowd
right.
At this point in my career.
Right.
And a really good buddy of mine and a friend of his, they had a spot that they had developed or was in development. They were looking to do kind of a bike shop with maybe taps or an espresso machine. And so we kind of got together and said, I think this could be a bigger idea. We think we could make this into a full scale restaurant with a bike shop in the back. And so that's what we ended up doing. So it's an interesting, with the whole Waddell and Reed building going on.
Yes.
It's an interesting concept because the building that we're in, on the original location, the city forced the developer to put retail on the first floor, which they're not doing with Waddell and Reed.
Right.
And so that's why there's even two spaces in here, is because in terms of urban development, that they said you can't build 5 apartment buildings without some retail spaces. And so we knew the people that were developing the building, and so we ended up with the space. So we weren't actually shopping the concept at the time.
Okay.
We had the space, and we're like, okay, what could possibly go in there? And just kind of incidentally, I had spent a lot of time in my career in Minneapolis, and there's a place that I spent a lot of time in that was more of a bike shop with a little bit of taps and espresso and an espresso machine. So I had kind of lived in the concept. I'd spent a lot of time there as I was traveling, so I kind of had an idea what it could look like and what could be a little bigger. So what we call ourselves is a hangout with a bike shop in the back.
I love it.
So we're kind of a coffee shop, we're kind of a cafe, we're kind of a bar, but the through line of all of that is you can come in there and hang out.
I love it. And and that's what I do. I love that, casual vibe, but, wonderful space, plenty of TVs for, sports fans or, whatever's going on at the time. So that's an interesting question, because I've always wondered about that, like from the business owner perspective. So let's fast forward, because now you've been able to open a second location at 9th and Walnut. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's at the corner of 10th and Walnut.
10th and Walnut, excuse me.
The address is 929 Walnut.
Okay, so I'm curious, because obviously, like, you need to be confident that you're going to have, the customer base and the revenue and all those, financial things to support your business. But I'm curious, especially in a market like downtown Kansas City, is that an instance of, like, you saw the spot available and that kind of set wheels in motion for the second location?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, I live between the locations, so not only do I run the place, but like I live at 10th and Walnut, so I know both the neighborhood over here and I know the neighborhood over there.
Okay.
And I know even though they're 7 blocks apart, they really don't cross each other. So like once you cross Main and Broadway, like Quality Hill is a really different neighborhood than kind of the financial district.
Yep.
It's kind of incident, kind of the guys that own the building next to us, the Wooster brothers, the same guys that are developing the Glass Cube building.
Yep.
They are regulars of ours. They've been coming in here since we opened because they obviously have an office next door.
Right.
They bought 929 and 909, so they bought that whole block. And at that point, Scooters was moving out, and we were friends. And they said, we have this one retail space. We think you guys are good operators. We would love for us to have the same concept, a more local concept over there. And so we just kind of did it literally on the back of a napkin in the shop. Just said, hey, why don't you guys come over there? They had a construction arm. And we knew, and I mean, if you go to the 2 shops, like I'm in both shops all the time, very rarely do you see the same customers. We have a whole group of regulars over here. We have a whole, there it's really about UMB and Commerce Towers. It's just a different group. And I mean, anybody that lives downtown knows, a coffee shop radius, customers is about 1/8 of a mile. There's a couple coffee shops between us and the other store. And so you're not, there's 2 Mildreds between us and the other store. There's a Starbucks. And so we think our concept is a little bit unique in that we're not totally a coffee shop, but we felt like with the density of downtown, there's room for 2 shops within that cluster shop. Now, the second shop, 929, we consider that just an express bike shop. So we carry tubes, tires, helmets, things that you need to pick up things that people buy at the first shop when they're closed. We don't have a full mechanic over there. There's no need for a mechanic that close to each other.
Gotcha.
2 mechanics, yeah.
Well, and that's so I'm curious too, with, the craziness of the last few weeks and I've talked to some people and I feel like anecdotally what I see downtown, what I see in my own neighborhood in Brookside, I feel like people are biking more. What are you guys seeing on your end? Are you selling more bikes, or are you just seeing an uptick in interest in that?
Yeah, what I like to say is people were overrun with the ERs being full, and they should have been worrying about the bike shops being full.
Right.
We have absolutely killed. Like we probably have 15 service bikes in here right now to fix, and this is at the end. It stopped being busy. We have two bikes left to sell. We sold out of everything for the spring.
Wow.
And everything that we've got is 8 to 12 weeks on order.
Okay.
Back order. And so that's kind of where it is everywhere. Like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, there was an article on the front page of the New York Times that if you're looking to buy a bike, you're going to be waiting for a while.
Yep. Okay.
So a guy actually literally just called me before I got on with you, and he said, "Do you have any gravel bikes?" I said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, I don't have any till August. He's like, "Yeah, you're the 5th person I called, and they've all said the same thing."
Oh, God.
Yeah, and we hear the same thing about like canoes, trampolines, outdoor pools, like patio furniture. We were going to do a parklet that the city approved, but we can't get any patio furniture to do it. Like all the patio furniture's gone. Yeah. And so we don't have any chairs to put out there to do it. So it's the bike business has been good. People have been coming in, and we're getting a lot. We kind of daily somebody rolls in with a jalopy and says, this has been in my attic for 7 years. Can you guys get this thing fixed up? And we work on all bikes. We work on any style. And, bikes are pretty simple machines. So other than kind of being inefficient and being very heavy, a bike that's 10 years old is, we can get it fixed up for a regular tune-up and get it rolling out the door.
Well, I was going to say, I've had you on my list because I have, I'm fortunate. I have a beautiful giant bike that I bought actually years ago when I lived in the River Market, when River Market Cyclery was still around. Yeah. Just got totally outfitted there. And yeah, I'm just in desperate need. I just need new tubes. New tubes and a little tune-up, and then I can be hitting the open road.
You can be with everybody else out there, yeah.
Dan, I wanted to ask you too, because I know, we want to chat reopening and I want to talk to you about that real quick, but I'm also curious because obviously fan of you guys at Spokes and what you do, follow you on social media. I'm curious about the last few weeks, like how business was. I feel like you guys did an incredible job at pivoting like so many businesses had to do. I loved all the posts about getting food to healthcare and other frontline workers. But you brought up a good point earlier where a lot of your traffic does come from some of that office population, and with, theoretically some of the offices being empty or close to empty right now. What have you guys seen the last few weeks, and how's that been just trying to keep moving forward?
Yeah, being honestly, we're going to be beat up pretty bad at the second location, just because it's a business to business location. It's a business breakfast and lunch place. So
Right.
there's enough traffic over there to keep our payroll going, and our landlord's been very generous to us.
Good.
But it's not good. Like, it's not until the banks come back, until the businesses come back. It's not great. Now the flip side of that is our other location is in the first floor of a 5-building residential area,
Right.
and so all the people over here are all working from home.
Right.
And so while it's usually not as busy over here during the day, it's been much busier. I mean, not to regular traffic, but to a decent amount of traffic. So we never closed.
Okay.
So we were considered essential. 60 to 70% of our businesses carry out anyway. So we never closed either shop. And so we set up barriers so nobody could come in the restaurant. They could just go to the register. We've got pickups right by the door. We were doing curbside, all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we've been open the whole time. It's just been a matter of, just kind of fighting it out every day.
Yeah.
And it was important to us. We had kind of an interesting deal. We had quite a bit of turnover in February just because of kind of what happens in restaurants. And so we had to let some people go, but we didn't have to let anybody go that had worked for us for more than 2 months. So kind of our core group.
Okay.
The core group we've left here, and honestly, like I've got a killer crew. Like, they're really, really good.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing to lose a little money and keep my essential folks working.
Yep.
Because even if we're breaking even or we're losing a little money over at the Walnut store, I don't want to lose those folks because they're just really the core of our business is our service model. And so we've been keeping going that way. But yeah, we've been here. We were closed on Memorial Day, but other than that, we've been open every single day.
Okay. Awesome.
We've got pulse oxes and we've got thermometers, and we're checking everybody every time they come into work and all of that kind of stuff. But it's been it's been interesting, but we've been plowing through. And our regulars are amazing. Like, what we found out is people have settled in, and the same people buy coffee and a burrito every single morning.
Yep.
They buy the same barbecue chicken wrap with chips every lunch. We really have had a loyal group of folks stay with us.
Yeah, I love that. Well, yeah, and it helps too. With everything so unpredictable, if you can salvage parts of your routine or even create new routines, it can be comforting, and see some friendly faces.
Yeah, and there's an inertia piece of all the restaurant business where it's just hard to shut down the machine and say, okay, I have to go away for 2 months and then try to get people back.
Yeah.
So we were like, even if we can just scrape by, we are kind of essential. Like, young folks that live down around here don't necessarily cook all the time.
Right.
They don't necessarily, we feel like we have been providing a service to the community.
Awesome. And just to reiterate, you guys never closed, but open. We mentioned last week on the show, you've got some sidewalk seating options. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we're open in the dining room. We're spacing according to the regulations of KCMO. So we have less tables in the dining room. We're all 6 feet apart. There's no more than 4 people at a table. You can't move chairs or anything like that.
Perfect.
No bar seating. But yeah, we are open inside. We haven't found a lot of people taking us up on that.
Okay.
But we are open inside.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, our standard downtown dish closing question.
Okay.
Can you give us a shout out to a couple of your favorite downtown restaurant, bar, hangouts, places that you're either have already been able to stop in or that you're looking forward to getting back to?
Yeah, so the Katy Shack is always one of my favorite haunts.
Love Katy Shack.
So once they started delivering pizza back That's good. Harry's Country Club. Harry and Rose are good friends of mine. So yeah, I've been carrying out for them. We've been trying to pay it forward and carry out for folks as well.
Yep.
Los Tules is another favorite one of ours. Margaritas is another favorite one of ours. Red Dragon.
Yes.
Kind of old school Chinese. I've been going there for 25 years.
Love it.
You want me to keep going? Like I eat out a lot.
I mean, that's good. You had some good. We've had a couple places you mentioned that have been mentioned on the show before. A couple places. In fact, I was joking. We've got this live chat happening as we're doing the show, and I was joking last week that maybe we need a Downtown Dish bingo card, and so every time a guest says the name of a restaurant, mark it off and win a prize. Or
one last one that's kind of a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about is the burgers at Ravenous, the Corvino.
Yes.
Burger stuff, killer.
Yes.
Killer.
That's top of my list.
It's really, really good stuff. So, and I think they just came out with like a $12.95 special. They have this malted ice cream there that they sell by the pint. It's just delicious, just really, really good. So, Christine and they're doing a good job over there.
Well, wait, I can't let you go yet because you were teasing me earlier that you might have some breaking news for us.
Yeah, so we have not posted this anywhere, but we are working on it. So the weekend after 4th of July, we are going to full brunch on Saturday and Sundays at the Washington store. So
awesome!
Bottomless mimosas, bottomless Bloody Marys. We're doing we've always had issues with potatoes because we don't have a very big grill. Mm-hmm. But my mom, for 30 years, has been making the funeral potatoes. That you get, the hash brown casserole that you get. Yeah. At the Cracker Barrel, whatever. And so we've created like a mold that we actually grill those in. So you get like that. We're doing, we've always done biscuits and gravy, but we're also doing our breakfast burritos. We're doing smothered on the weekend. So you can either smother them with a pork green chili or smother them with with the biscuits and with the gravy. And then the other fun thing that we're doing is one of our most well-known sandwiches is our meatloaf melt.
Yes.
So we're doing a steak and eggs version of that, where you have the hash brown, the funeral potatoes on the bottom, 2 slices of meatloaf, and then eggs any style on top. So it's like a meatloaf, steak, and eggs. So all good stuff.
Weekend after 4th of July.
And then waffles as well.
Writing this, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, can I make a reservation? Can we make reservations?
Yeah. No reservations, just walk in.
Just walk in. Okay. Spokes Brunch. Awesome. Oh, that's so good to hear and perfect. Yeah. I love brunch. Everybody loves brunch.
It's fun. So we'll see how your reach is if I start hearing about brunch coming in, because I haven't announced it anywhere else.
Okay.
So you're the only one that knows at this point.
Yes, Downtown Dish people, we got a scoop. Let's spread the word. Well, Dan, thank you. So glad. I know things, we're not out of the woods as far as challenges, but glad to hear you guys are doing, as well as you can. You've got that great team. You'll definitely be seeing me soon. And of course, stop back by the Dish anytime if you have any news or updates to share. You're always welcome.
You got it. Thanks so much for having us. Thanks for what you guys are doing for restaurants downtown.
Thank you. Okay, I don't want to alarm you, but this is the last weekend of June. I know. We'll talk about that later. So, want to make sure that you are aware that this Saturday will be the final Saturday for parking lot provisions at J. Rieger and Company Distillery in the East Bottoms. This is a super cool parking lot pop-up market that they've been running all month. It goes from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturday. You'll be able to shop from a variety of local vendors: Charlie Hustle, Kansas City Canning Company, Local Pig, Ruby Jean's Juicery, Thou Mayest Coffee, Yoli, Tortilleria, and much more. Best place to go for information is J. Rieger's Facebook page. We'll drop the link right here. We have a very special guest here with us today on the Downtown Dish, and I cannot wait for you to meet him. He has the coolest project up his sleeve, all going for a good cause.
Hey, Katie.
Hey.
Why don't we just go in the other room?
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Makes sense.
Okay. Be right back. Let's try that again.
Hi.
So, welcome.
Welcome.
Very excited to have you, Rob Shamburger, with us.
On the Downtown Dish.
On the Downtown Dish.
I've made it. Our cats have made it.
You've been working towards this your whole life?
Yeah, lifetime dream.
Okay, awesome. Let's just, get out of the way for everybody out there. We are married.
Yes.
You're my husband.
Yes.
And you were here with the coolest idea that was inspired by one of our Downtown Dish interviews a couple weeks ago with Shay Moore.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Well, when she was talking about the fundraiser for the Jazz Museum, I thought, this would be a cool thing for me to participate in. For the people at home that don't know what I do, I'm the WWE's artist in residence. Get to travel all over and paint wrestlers for a living. But before I started that, you were there for all of it. Started with like jazz paintings, and so when I heard what she was doing, I thought, hey, this would be a cool way for me to give back and kind of do a little full circle action and do a Charlie Parker painting that we can then auction off with all the proceeds going to the Jazz Museum. And that's for the people that are watching, wondering what this painting stuff intersplicing in here is.
Right.
That's me working on the paintings. You get to see the full progress as well.
That's so awesome. And you're
right.
Because you do process videos already every week for WWE.
Yeah, I have a weekly show with them called Canvas to Canvas. It's kind of the Bob Ross of pro wrestling.
Awesome.
The thing that no one knew what they wanted. I just have less hair, but a few less happy trees. If there are any, they're like bashing each other with them in the ring.
I love it. So you are, thank you so much for thinking of us in the American Jazz Museum. This is tremendous to be able to share this with our audience and beyond. You are going to kind of take the reins on the auction. So break that down for us, how that works and how everybody can participate.
Right. If you jump over to my Twitter, it's at Rob Shamburger. It's the one at the bottom of the screen there because it's a great long name.
Right.
But what we'll do is this will go through Tuesday at noon. So that'd be the 31st of June?
30th.
30th, day before my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
How old are you going to be?
Big 4-0.
Woo!
4 decades. What we're going to do is it's kind of silent auction-ish.
Sure.
To where people just put in what their bid is. And then by Tuesday at noon, whoever has the highest one wins. And what they'll do is they'll go to the Jazz Museum's donation page. I'll have that linked in the tweet as well. It'll be the pinned tweet that I have up. And they make the donation and then reach out to me. I'll get your shipping information and get it to you. This is available to anyone in the world. It doesn't have to just be here in town. I'll take care of the shipping. And then you'll get this Charlie Parker painting.
Original.
The original piece to hang up on your wall.
That's so cool. Looking back on some of the earlier Kansas City art that you did you imagine being in this place?
On the Downtown Dish? Never imagined it would get
stop.
to this point.
Oh, stop. So, thank you, Rob, so much for doing that. We will definitely send people to your Twitter. I think we're going to just have people go directly to Shay's fundraising link. She's got it all hooked up with the museum, so you'll provide that.
Yes.
We'll keep spreading the word. Before I let you go, since you're in the Downtown Dish hot seat, you've got to answer our standard question. So I need to know, because, side note,
Why am I so handsome? It's so weird that you ask people this all the time.
Wow.
Why is my husband Rob so handsome?
And everybody has a different answer.
Yeah,
it's really,
it's there's a lot of variety in that.
Yeah, it's incredible.
But you want to know where I like to go eat?
In downtown.
In downtown.
Yes.
Well,
favorite spots.
For a long time, you and I lived in the River Market. I miss the walkability of all that. We're down in Brookside now. But I miss that walkability. We were right across the street from there. Oh!
Cameo!
Cameo! This is Kima. All right. So, City Market Coffee.
Yep.
It's funny, like, I would get the same things at different places, so they really knew me by my order.
Right.
So there it was 2 breakfast burritos, 1 salsa. At Burrito Brothers, I would get a veggie burrito, but with scrambled eggs in it.
Yes.
So they'd always be like, scrambled eggs? I'm like, yes. And then over at Harry's Country Club, the New Mexico breakfast.
Yep.
I would just sit down at the bar and they'd be like, New Mexico breakfast? I'm like, yes, that is what I want. Those places, being able to just, walk over to there. Also, the Hibachi Mart.
Yep.
To go get my fancy candy bars.
Yep.
And my fancy tea.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I still, as much as I can, patronize those places,
sure.
but it's not daily anymore.
Right. I think one of our mutual favorites, we had many, Katy Shack.
Yes, the Shack.
The Shack.
As we call
it the Shack.
We need some Shack.
Let's see. When we lived in the River Market, we were on first name basis with the delivery drivers at the Shack and at Minsky's.
Yeah. Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
Anybody? That was about it. We're big fans of Cluster Truck.
Yeah. The truck.
The truck. Manny's. We had David Lopez on last week.
Yes.
Love Manny's.
Had our rehearsal dinner there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks for making me
Wherever you take me, I'm always along for whatever. You're the one that knows the places. I'm the one that eats there with you.
You're a good sport.
You're right.
You're a good sport. Well, thank you, Rob, so much. Thank you for
my pleasure.
Thank you for doing this art. Thank you for doing this fundraiser. I know so many groups, people are in need right now, and everything that we can all do to help is going to have a tremendous impact.
To be able to do this, to give back in a meaningful way, it's important.
Well, please come back to the dish anytime.
I'm here all the time. I'm like in the other room.
Well, you could come on camera.
Yeah.
There you go. Just
the cats.
Yeah, send the cats on camera.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Love
Rob.
you.
Love you.
Love you more.
Love you more.
Most.
Bye. One of our primary goals here at the Downtown Dish is to encourage everyone to get out and about in downtown Kansas City, but the biggest part of that is at your comfort level. Safety is paramount. As we all know, unfortunately, the pandemic is still continuing. So we wanted to team up with our friends at Comeback KC to just pass on a couple of safety tips, especially if you are getting out and about a little more. Of course, one of the easiest and most effective things you can do is wear a mask, especially if you're dining out. You'll find that a lot of local restaurants and bars have guidelines already set, so check into their social media pages before you go to make sure that you've got all the information. But it's really the best idea. Wear your mask everywhere except at the table. So while you're waiting, maybe running to the restroom, exiting, keep that mask on. Of course, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as you can. I like to pack some hand sanitizer with me, so I'm always prepared. Honestly, most businesses have hand sanitizer on hand right now, but you can't ever have too much, right? Definitely check out Comeback KC. This is a group of Kansas City businesses and other stakeholders that are really just trying to get the city back on its feet as safely as possible. So check out their website, comebackkc.com. They've got resources, tips, updates, testing locations, everything you need. And don't forget, wear your mask, show it off, accessorize, right? Safety, but make it fashion. And show me your mask with our hashtag DowntownDishKC. Matt, Jeff, so excited to be here with you guys today. This is our first Downtown Dish on location. We are on location at the clearing. Can we go ahead and cheers?
Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers.
So, guys, tell us a little bit about about the pairing? Because I feel like you were newer to the scene anyway, and then pandemic happened. So tell us what's going on here.
Jeff and I set out to do this. Started concocting the idea as long as 2 or 3 years ago. It seems like, at least. It's just a conversation of traveling around different ideas and what we wanted to do, and it was a very slow build, and then we finally found the space, and of course when you're dealing with, well, I'm not going to say the city because it's more complicated than that. I'm not picking on anybody, but things get behind schedule, and we ended up opening the doors 6 months later than I think we had originally expected. We opened 3 weeks before Christmas last year.
Okay.
Did our grand opening in February. In March, the world kind of crumbled around us, and here we are kind of like picking up the pieces and trying to pick up where we left off. And so that, related to what you said about COVID in particular, that's kind of where we're at here.
Our background came primarily from a traditional liquor store retail experience where you had a big anchor near your location, you had a highway by your location, you had residential by your location. Well, we get down here and we didn't have any of this.
Right.
So it's been a challenge, and we love that challenge. But then you throw the COVID experience on there as well. But we've taken all these punches, and we're going to bounce back.
Yeah. And let's talk about that, because I know I popped in, I think for the first time it was early January, and immediately was enamored, because the way I see it, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're part wine bar, part, I'd say specialty grocer.
So the idea was to open a liquor store. First and foremost, we wanted to open a liquor store, and we wanted to do it in this neighborhood because we got great other neighbors who have wine-focused establishments, as retail and in the bar and restaurant scene. But there wasn't an actual liquor store. So first and foremost, we wanted a liquor store, but didn't want it to be just a liquor store. We wanted to have focus on more independently owned brands, pair that up with some specialty grocery items. So we've got meats and cheeses and jellies and jams and mustards and just kind of things you would typically find maybe with charcuterie boards, but then also just some general snacks, chocolates, different things like that. And then on top of that, we wanted to have a bar inside of that establishment. So it's kind of a hybrid combination of a liquor store, a specialty grocery store, a wine bar, and a charcuterie-themed restaurant all under one roof. With a little bit of artwork, because it's in the Crossroads neighborhood. We wanted the art space to be part of it. And we can even do live music, so we can be a little tiny venue at times as well. So,
when we took this idea to the city to get approval, their head wanted to explode, because they literally, the precedent hadn't been set for licensing. And so we had to explain to them in detail, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to sample wines, but we want to sell some cheeses, we want to have a retail space. And they were like, okay, well, let's give you this license and this license. So that was a struggle at first, but once we got past that, they were really good.
Well, and I love that, and what people may not be, putting it together, so let's do that for them, is you can stop in, of course, and get wine, liquor, beer.
If you are looking to grab a 6-pack and a bottle of wine on your way home from work, you can absolutely do that. We've got I think 30 cooler doors of beer and cold wine. And as you can see, there's plenty of wine and spirits on the shelves as well. Or you can come in and sit down and have a bottle of wine, celebrate with friends, kick back on your lunch break, whatever. There's a lot of things under one roof.
I love that, and call myself an avid wine drinker, but still very much in the learning about wine and appreciating wine. And I will say, since January, you all have been instrumental, and Henry here as well too. Such a brilliant mind for wine, but because I can come in here as a bar customer and I can select a bottle of wine from your shelves and go ahead and open that here with you all and get the experience, get some education while I'm at it. So my gosh, I've tried so many things. Thanks to you.
That's also part of the design as well. It's a place where you can come and if you're looking for your traditional Napa Cabernet, we have that and we love that. We've also got stuff if you're willing to try some new things. We absolutely have that as well. And again, it's just a little something for everybody. If I don't say so myself.
Yeah.
It's kind of a corny expression, but it's kind of like a 360 experience when you get in here because we're your traditional liquor store, but then we've also turned it around to have the retail side, the wine tasting side, the specialty grocer side. And then we have people on our staff that can educate you and open you up to a new type of grape, a new type of beer, a new type of cheese.
Yep.
Rather than just a typical walk-in store, grab it and go.
Absolutely, yeah, that's why I love it. Yeah, props to you guys for being so versatile. If I need to pop in, like you said, quickly and get on my way, I can do that. If I want to stay for a while, which I usually stay for a while, so I love it. So in that vein then of wine education, what are we drinking today?
So we're drinking right now, this is Rosalie. This is rosé that we were very lucky. We got the country's entire allocation. There's the pairing is the only place you'll find this bottle, and it's a blend of 5 different grapes, and we can go into detail on that a little bit later with our wine. I call Henry our wine guru.
Right.
Because he can go into much greater detail than I can. But it's a nice blend of Grenache, Cinsault, Cab Sauv, Syrah.
Okay.
4 of the 5.
It's gonna be
But yeah, it's a really nice. It's from South Africa also, so it's a pretty unique rosé. Not
perfect for summer, very light. Yeah, cheers again, guys.
sure.
Wonderful. Well, and so before we go, let's just reiterate too, because obviously I'm here with you on location, so glad to be here. Reopening is underway. I'm sure the event side isn't quite maybe where it was a few weeks ago, but just tell us, can we come by? What hours, things like that.
So we just last week, as of I believe it was the 11th, we reopened the bar after being closed for the better part of 3 months, I think.
Right.
50% capacity. We have a very large dining space and a large bar, and we're able to comfortably put 15 people over here and keep a lot of distance between people. There's, I think, 6 feet is the minimum, and we're close to 10 feet in some spots. So we've got a lot of room for everybody to come in. But a lot of people are still hesitant to come out, so it's just sort of one day at a time and figuring things out as we go, and waiting for the next update from the mayor in, I believe, 2 weeks to find out what happens from there. But yeah, under limited capacity. Restaurants back open, pretty much everything the way it was before, except to be a little bit more socially distanced still. But other than that, we're trying to pick up where we left off the best we can.
Yeah.
And I would like to jump in and say, Matt and I didn't do this all ourselves. We built a great staff. We brought in some of the best, like Henry, who's forgotten more about wine. Slimm's forgotten more about beer and spirits than I'll ever know.
Right.
And then we brought in Ray, our general manager, who's in charge of our culinary side of the store. And we have developed a really good relationship with our distributors, and we rely on them for their knowledge and just any factoids we can get on the products that they bring in.
And that's another thing, real quick, that's something else I forgot. And I know other wine bars and retailers around Kansas City do a wonderful job at this as well. But I do love too, I've come to the pairing, even sometimes not realizing it, and there has been a winemaker or distributor here to do a tasting. I'm still actually in contact with a couple people that I met, just, on Instagram.
Oh, for sure.
But how cool. It's so, and it is so, you do have the good space where you can space out, but also it's not huge. So it feels a little more intimate, and I'm just chatting with people who love what they do, and it just, to me, it takes that tasting experience to a new level.
One thing that we wanted to do was also, people are intimidated by wine. There's for some reason, you can go pick up an IPA or a sour beer or any type of beer really, and it just is what it is. You drink it, you enjoy it, and for some reason, wine has this, like, people are scared to ask questions. They're scared of saying the wrong thing, or, well, I don't taste leather and tobacco.
Right.
And that's fine. But we wanted a place where people can come in and you don't need to know all those things. If you want to learn about them, great. Again, that's why we have Henry. That's not even who I am as one of the owners. I just know what I enjoy and the things I picked up along the way. But ultimately, we want to find out what it is that you like and give you a product that that's going to fit your need. And if you don't know what Cinso is, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Sit down, have a glass of wine, and just enjoy it for what it is. And it doesn't have to be anything more. That's a big thing we want to stress as well.
I love that. We had Mariah from Arts KC on a couple episodes ago, and she was giving us the same, and David Johnson with the Crossroads Community Association, that same wonderful mindset in regards to galleries. Galleries as a whole can sometimes be a little intimidating to people, but especially in the Crossroads with First Fridays and any time, really just putting out that message, everybody's welcome. To your point, if you want to make it a really immersive educational experience, you can, or if you just want to roll up to the bar, you can do that too.
We looked at several spots around the city, River Market, West Side, and when we saw this space, we knew right away that we needed to be here. And the way this neighborhood has welcomed us, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The Crossroads Neighborhood Association was, they wanted to have a meeting with us when they heard that there was a liquor store coming to the neighborhood, and once we sat down with them and told them what the plan was, they were very, very helpful, encouraging. We've been very lucky to the amount of people who have, as you were saying, helped us sort of get this thing off the ground, because it did not come with just the two of us. It was a huge team effort for sure. So, and again, Crossroads Neighborhood Association has been great with that as well. So.
Wonderful. Okay, and on that note, last question. It's always my favorite question. We've gotten into this rhythm now in the episodes. Give me, each of you, a couple other downtown restaurants or bars that you love, hangouts. I know it's hard to whittle it down, but
it'd be probably a long answer to your question, but I can say, way before I entertained the idea of opening a place in this neighborhood, before I ever thought of owning my own business at all, the Brick has been a fixture of this neighborhood. I've been a regular patron there for literally, I think, 20 years now. I can't say enough about the Brick. And Sherry Parr, the owner, she has helped really lay the foundation for a lot of new businesses to come in. And so I have to definitely mention them. Amazing food, live music, kind of a dive bar, but more than just that. And then also the newer end of the spectrum during the whole shutdown and people adapting and doing curbside pickup and carry-out orders, that sort of thing. I finally got around to trying the Antler Room, and we literally ate there every single weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for I believe it was at least 6 or 7 weeks in a row. Some of the best food, especially it was a breakfast burrito. They had a steak sandwich. Everything that comes out of there, the place is amazing. They're good people. So I can't say enough good about those guys as well. Corvino's been great. a fair. There's so many, and I know I'm forgetting other ones. There's so many amazing restaurants and bars in this neighborhood. Double Shift, oh my God, Double Shift Brewing. And again, with all due respect to all the amazing brewers and distillers in this neighborhood, those are our buddies down there, man. They've worked with us on a collaboration, made a beer that's available exclusively here, Crossroads Coyote. It's a beer collaboration we did with them. Love those guys to death. And I kind of just grazed over some people. I'm sure you've got some.
Well, I was going to mention those guys as well, but every one of them, I'm sure we're missing some, but everybody has said, hey, if you ever need anything, let us know. What can I do to help you guys out and get your business up? And we never experienced that in our previous endeavors.
Very supportive community.
Our landlords, it's Shamburger Properties, they've been the best. My old business, I was there for 7 years, never met a landlord one time. They're in here all the time. If we need anything, they'll help us just like that.
Well, and I love that too, because on last week's episode we heard from David Lopez, GM at Manny's, and he said that exact thing in his remarks, is that Kansas City is the greatest place on earth. There's lots of reasons for that, but top of the list is the people. And also being part of the small business community, seeing it as a more supportive group rather than a cutthroat, competitive, I can do wine better than you or whatever. Like, that's not
We're
vibe at all.
zero here in the city. We're in the city.
Yeah.
But down here, it feels like a small town atmosphere.
Yes.
When you wave at people, you see people walking on the sidewalk or driving by, or you'll stick your head in the door and wave. Hey, how are you doing? I never experienced it.
Yeah, exactly. I have a friend who is contemplating relocating to Kansas City from New York, partially because of everything going on. And I was trying to explain that to her, as giving her kind of the lay of the land and recommending some residential buildings. And I said, if you decide to move here and you get established here, you'll see that it really is the smallest big city. And I love that.
I think that kind of embodies everything that is Kansas City, really. We all know each other on some level, I think, too. It's just that we're just small enough to have that connection, I think. And I've traveled all over the country, and I've never experienced anything quite like I have in Kansas City in that specific regard. So we still have things that we need to catch up with,
sure.
But I think that's also, we recognize that as well.
Awesome. Well, Matt and Jeff, thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Such a milestone here on location with the Downtown Dish. So thank you again for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I wanted to send a huge congratulations to friends of the Downtown Dish that you may remember from a few episodes ago when we took you behind the scenes at the Crossroads Community Kitchen with Kyle Gardner. You may remember Kyle talking about how the kitchen had been set up at the Rieger, but they were looking for a new space to kind of start this next chapter. They have found that space at Morning Glory Ministries, 1112 Broadway. So congratulations, Kyle and the whole team there at the Crossroads Community Kitchen at the Chefs Collective KC. Thank you so much for continuing this important initiative that you started when the pandemic hit. I know the community appreciates it so much, and we're grateful to have people like you here in downtown. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. That brings us to the end of another episode of the Downtown Dish. Now, next Friday is the day before a holiday, but do not fear, we're not taking any time off. We're going to be back with a packed episode. We're going to hear from Jason Fulvey, CEO of Visit KC. Cannot wait to hear what Jason has to share with us. Also going to check in with local coffee shops. Gonna get the scoop on Art in the Loop, which is up and running. Lots of news to share there. So definitely come back, join us next week. Please, in the meantime, bid on this wonderful fundraiser for the American Jazz Museum. Head to Rob Shamburger's Twitter account. Place your bid for that original Charlie Parker painting. All proceeds benefiting the American Jazz Museum. Tim, thank you again so much for your beautiful music this week. And now, if y'all don't mind, it's summer, so you know what that means. It's rosé season. I'm gonna drink some rosé. Tannen has a huge virtual rosé tasting happening this weekend, excuse me. Proceeds going to Komen KC. I know the Pairing's got a special rosé flight lined up. I'm sure Cellar Rat's got all kinds of things going on. KC Wine Works. So wherever you get wine, have a little rosé with me, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.